It's crazy how quick time flies by when you're having fun. Don't look now, but we are just days away from Red Dead Redemption 2's first birthday, and Rockstar will be delivering quite the gift to celebrate. There have been rumblings about this for a while, but we finally got confirmation from Rockstar themselves that Red Dead Redemption 2 will be coming to PC on November 5th, 2019. With the PC port treatment, Red Dead Redemption 2 will now get to enjoy higher resolutions, higher frame rates, and probably most important of all, mods. At least that's the most hype thing about this re-release to me. Trust me, the community is going to go absolutely crazy modding this game if the GTA 5 modding scene is any indication. Having played the game exhaustively for a year now, today I want to take a look at what Rockstar itself could do to provide a newer, fresher, updated take on Red Dead Redemption 2. As a reference, we'll be using the refreshed versions of GTA 5 that were released on PS4 and Xbox One in 2014 and PC in 2015. So far, Rockstar has only announced a few new additions for Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC that aren't performance related, including new bounty hunter missions, new weapons for story mode, new horses, and more. Call me naive, but I think Rockstar is still holding back a few secrets here. An updated version of Red Dead Redemption 2 has way too much potential. Looking at this list here, I find it hard to believe that this is all they have planned. There is just so much more meaningful content that could and should be added. So today, I'm going to outline 5 things I'd like to see added to Red Dead Redemption 2 through either this PC release, a future content update, or perhaps the inevitable next-gen release. I'll try to keep this wishlist as realistic as possible, and to do so, I think it's important to take a look at Rockstar's actual track record when it comes to re-releasing their games on new hardware. It was at E3 2014 that Rockstar dropped the bomb. GTA 5, following a record-breaking launch on the Xbox 360 and PS3 in September of 2013, would be heading to the newly released next-gen consoles PS4 and Xbox One in November of 2014. The PC release would follow a few months thereafter in April 2015. Clearly, looking at this Red Dead Redemption 2 PC release schedule, we've already been through this song and dance once before. In addition to the greatly enhanced visuals that took full advantage of the next generation tech, Rockstar added a bunch of new content to Los Santos itself. New weapons, vehicles, and collectibles could be found, in addition to a number of new side missions, GTA Online content updates that took full advantage of the more powerful hardware, and much, much more. Months later, alongside the PC release of the game, the Rockstar Editor made its debut, a feature deep with options and editing tools that allowed an unprecedented level of player creativity. I mean, someone remade Terminator 2 shot for shot in the Rockstar Editor with GTA 5. Come on, that is crazy. It also allowed millions of YouTubers around the world to capture perfect moments, take perfect screenshots, and of course, create perfect clickbait thumbnails for their videos. If for nothing else, Rockstar, we need the Rockstar Editor back for Red Dead so I could create my precious clickbait thumbnails. The PC version of GTA 5 also launched alongside the much anticipated Heists content update for GTA Online, which was huge at the time. But perhaps the biggest bombshell to accompany this PC release was the fact that players would now be given the option to play the entire game from a first-person perspective. It may seem quaint now, but a first-person mode being added to GTA 5 seemed impossible back in 2013. It was believed by many that such a perspective would break the game, but despite all that, Rockstar made it happen and it was awesome. Vehicle interiors were redone to take advantage of first person, new animations were created, and so much more to make sure everything just worked. So here's my point. If Rockstar was willing to go above and beyond like this to put a fully functional first person mode into GTA 5, then what's stopping them from going above and beyond when it comes to the enhanced port of Red Dead Redemption 2? As far as I'm concerned, Rockstar's blog post here doesn't touch on anything as revolutionary as first-person mode, heists, or the Rockstar Editor, all of which made the GTA 5 re-release feel really special, and that's why I think there's more to this Red Dead re-release than Rockstar is initially letting on. And that's the bar I'll be setting for the additions you'll see outlined here in this video. If Rockstar could add fully functional first-person controls to GTA 5, then if they really wanted to, they could add the 5 things I'll be outlining here in the video to Red Dead Redemption 2 without much of a problem. At the very least, I think we'll be seeing 3 distinct releases of Red Dead Redemption 2. The original in 2018, the PC version in 2019, and more than likely, the PS5 and Project Scarlett version in 2020 or maybe 2021. That gives us a lot of leeway because while we may know what's coming in a few days with the PC version, who knows what the future will hold when it comes to that PS5 version, or with straight up DLC that comes to all versions. Okay, maybe some of these aren't entirely realistic, but let's face it, this video is for fun and hype above all else. And I know the modding scene will make all of this happen either way, but really, given the ungodly success of the GTA 5 re-release, I hope Rockstar realizes that they need to make the Red Dead Redemption 2 re-release feel just as special if they want to see that same kind of success, especially when it comes to convincing people to double or even triple dip on the game. So maybe these ideas aren't that unrealistic at all. Either way, let's dive right into the 5 things I'd like to see added to a new version of Red Dead Redemption 2. While I was writing this video, Rockstar released this blog post outlining some of the new additions that would be coming to Red Dead Redemption 2 for PC. Lo and behold, a bunch of the new weapons and horses that were released exclusively to Red Dead Online will be making their way into the story mode of Red Dead Redemption 2 for the first time. And that's great news because I love my Evans repeater. Going forward, I really hope all of the new horses, weapons, and even clothing that appears in Red Dead Online are also made available in Red Dead Redemption 2 Story Mode. This really doesn't seem hard, and if Rockstar's not going to do it, the modders will. However, what's more important to me than weapons or horses were the new movement and combat changes that made their way into Red Dead Online with the Frontier Pursuits content update. Rockstar decided to change how movement worked in Red Dead Online pretty much across the board, making everything just feel quicker and more responsive overall. Running, swimming, jumping, climbing, and vaulting are all way faster. When it comes to weapons, aiming, cocking, and reloading animations are sped up as well. Looting, hog tying, mounting horses, the list goes on and on. It all just feels super tight now. I never personally had any problem with the controls for Red Dead Redemption 2. It was clear after about 5 minutes that everything in this game was a bit slower and more deliberate than most other third-person shooters, and I was able to adapt. However, the controls are probably the #1 thing I've heard the most complaints about when it comes to the game overall. And in my opinion, if the controls are what's stopping you from enjoying this masterpiece, then that's a real shame. With the changes made to the controls in Red Dead Online, Rockstar has, at least in some way, acknowledged that the controls and movement as they existed before were a bit slow and decided to cut down on animation times across the board for an overall faster experience. I would love to see a quick mode added, at least as an option for the Red Dead Redemption 2 story mode, just so all the people who struggled with the controls before can have a more satisfying experience. Again, if they could balance and incorporate a first-person mode into GTA 5, I don't see how a quick mode would be much of a problem here in Red Dead Redemption 2. Besides, this is definitely something the modders will add to the game if Rockstar does not. The Rockstar Editor was such an awesome way to get even more out of GTA 5. I don't really consider myself that artistic or creative, but the existence of the Rockstar Editor really made me go out of my way to create crazy scenarios and snap the best photos I could. In the hands of far more talented people, it became a legit photography tool, and the amount of absolutely gorgeous shots I've seen snapped from this now 6-year-old game is just mind-blowing. Combine that with the ability to create perfectly framed cinematic videos, and you have a tool that has, simply put, endless potential. Now take all of that and apply it to Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the most cinematic games ever made. Given what people were able to do with GTA 5 in the Rockstar Editor, it's almost scary to consider the possibilities that the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 presents. Since before launch, Rockstar has released gorgeous shot after gorgeous shot from this game, and it always makes me sad that I can't just boot up the game and craft these kinds of cinematic screenshots myself. Riding your horse in cinematic mode or just exploring the world and taking in those landscapes, it's almost like a big tease. This game needs the Rockstar Editor treatment. It needs it bad. I think there may be even more cinematic and artistic potential with such a tool here in the world of RDR2 than there is in GTA 5. It would be so great, and most importantly, I'd be able to make my clickbait thumbnails. Alright, so with this next idea, if you haven't finished the main story of Red Dead Redemption 2, we'll be getting into some spoilers here, so you've been warned. Another complaint I've seen aimed at Red Dead Redemption 2 is the fact that you can't play as Arthur anymore after Chapter 6. If you didn't create a separate save before heading into the epilogue, you would have to start a new game to regain control of Arthur. I had read before the game's launch that every chapter would move the timeline forward a little bit, so I was actually creating separate saves for each chapter during my initial playthrough. Little did I know how much that would come in handy after the events of Chapter 6. For obvious reasons, the importance of creating those separate saves is not made clear to the average player, and many didn't anticipate Arthur's death and the switch over to John Marston at all. So ultimately, I think some sort of character swapping ability should be added to Red Dead Redemption 2 in the future. Now, obviously, Arthur is dead come 1907 when we gain control of John, so it would not be as easy as holding a button and swapping between characters like we saw in GTA 5. Here's a potential solution to this problem that I think could work. John comes across Arthur's journal after he dies, and the player can flip through all the pages and relive some of those earlier moments from the story through Arthur's sketches. I think it would be a great idea to use some of these journal pages kinda like save states. By flipping to a certain page, John could have a flashback or something, and suddenly the player is controlling Arthur again. Remember, the camp moves to a different spot on the map for every chapter, and as a result, you can only experience certain bits of story, or even certain missions, in certain chapters. If there's something you missed from Chapter 4 when the gang was at Shady Belle, flip to the Shady Belle page, and you could assume control over Arthur and explore the world as it existed in Chapter 4. At this point, to bring the whole system together, we'd have to accept a bit of video game logic. Arthur should have all the weapons and items that John was carrying. And if you set out to, say, collect some dream catchers as Arthur, those same dream catchers would be collected when you switch back to John. I'm making it seem more complicated than it is, but simply put, the system I've envisioned would allow the player to go back and play through each of the 6 chapters as Arthur at will, and carry your progress forward when you decide to switch back to John. Again, this is a feature I expect modders will find a way to add to the game sooner or later, but it would be nice if Rockstar could incorporate character swapping in an official capacity, with some kind of in-universe logic as well. Now, as long as we're on the topic of playable characters, it's a long shot, but the real dream addition to Red Dead Redemption 2 would be some playable Sadie Adler DLC. Sadie instantly became a fan favorite, and it definitely feels like there's more of her story to tell at the end of Red Dead Redemption 2. A couple of super badass Sadie bounty hunter missions would mean so much to me. Sadie's voice actress, Alex McKenna, already returned to provide some lines of dialogue for Red Dead Online. So what's a few more? Come on, you already had John basically re-record all of Arthur's dialogue, so just give Sadie the same script and we're good. A Rockstar open world game with 3 playable characters? Come on, Rockstar, that's the move to make and you know it. If you want people to double or even triple dip on this game, Sadie Adler DLC. Enough said. I know Sadie Adler DLC for the single player mode is a super long shot, But what isn't a long shot is more DLC for Red Dead Online. In fact, I'd categorize that one as a sure thing. Rockstar is in it for the long haul here, and this mode is going to be updated regularly going forward. We just got the massive Frontier Pursuits update, so I doubt we'll be seeing another substantial update launch alongside the PC version. But if that next-gen version comes to fruition, I wouldn't be surprised if they launched the biggest Red Dead Online DLC yet to go along with it, much like they did with the Heist DLC and GTA 5's release on PS4 and Xbox One. Now, there's basically infinite possibilities here when it comes to big new online DLC. Maybe Red Dead Online will get its own dedicated Heist DLC. The map is certainly built for that. Could Dutch, Arthur, or other members of the Vanderlyn gang make a more prominent appearance and get involved in the world of Red Dead Online? Maybe we'll be able to buy hot air balloons, encounter unicorns, play sports at an Olympic stadium. The list goes on, and I've detailed many of these potential big Red Dead Online DLC ideas in this video here that you should check out if you haven't already. To me though, nothing says big like an entirely new area to explore, and to me, that has to be Gorma. This wonderfully designed little area is just sitting there, basically unused outside of Chapter 5 of the main story. And it provides so many potential gameplay additions for Red Dead Online. Just considering the new roles, we could be looking at new Gorma exclusive collectibles, Gorma exclusive animals and materials for all you traders out there, and of course, Gorma exclusive bounties to be hunted. We'd have new story missions as well, possibly given by Gloria, the creepy old lady that Dutch chokes to death. Players could finally invest in a boat, and perhaps the better boat you have, the higher potential payouts and rewards you could extract from Gorma. Then, pirates could attack your ship, and it would be up to you and your posse to defend it from takeover. I'm only just scratching the surface here, but I'd love to return back to the tropical island of Gorma because there are so many cool new directions Rockstar can go with an island that is entirely detached from our main map. Now, if they really wanted to go above and beyond, Rockstar can always play the Mexico card. Unlike Gorma, Mexico exists on the game's map, but hasn't actually been designed in any meaningful way outside of a few minor details. That means the space exists on the map for Rockstar to create an entirely new region that plays to all of Red Dead Online's strengths. Ever since players found ways to glitch into this mysterious unused land, many began speculating that the reason Mexico was here at all was because it would eventually find its way into Red Dead Online in some form or fashion. I would love to see Mexico make its triumphant return in Red Dead Online, and new story missions, characters, clothing, wildlife, and collectibles would just scratch the surface of what an entirely new, massive region like that could provide for the game. Again, I'll say, if Rockstar wants people to double or triple dip on this game, a new explorable region for Red Dead Online would be a fantastic way to drum up some serious hype. And speaking of amazing DLC that would drum up a ton of hype, Undead Nightmare is such a beloved staple of Red Dead lore, and it's pretty obvious that the fanbase wants to see a zombified twist on the Red Dead formula return in some form or fashion. There are already so many dark and horror-themed Easter eggs in this game, as well as death. I think it's pretty obvious which characters could reappear in undead zombie form should an Undead Nightmare expansion be released. Besides zombified characters, imagine zombified versions of the 200 plus animals that appear roaming the game's map. Dude, this would be too good. Honestly, the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 lends itself even better to an Undead Nightmare expansion than the original Red Dead Redemption, and the original was a damn masterpiece. Sadly, I'm not sure if new, fleshed out single-player DLC is realistic anymore for a Rockstar open world game. But at the very least, I'd love to see an Undead Nightmare mode for Red Dead Online, even if it was a smaller seasonal update near Halloween that offered unique weapons, clothing, and a few zombies roaming the map here and there. Looking at the gaming landscape as a whole, zombies don't seem to be going anywhere. RE2 Remake is probably the frontrunner for Game of the Year in 2019, and The Last of Us 2 is coming real soon and looks to be one of the finest titles of the entire generation. Bottom line is this: Rockstar, the people want more zombies. Lean into those horror themes even harder than you already have, and give me what I need. I'll say it one more time. If you want people to triple dip on this game, an Undead Nightmare expansion, whether it's for the single player or Red Dead Online, might be the best incentive of all. And that's gonna wrap it up for today. All in all, the base Red Dead Redemption 2 experience is still so packed with content that it's been enough for me to come back almost every day for nearly an entire year now. I'll be there day one for PC, and day one when that inevitable next-gen version is released as well. This game is just too good, and those mods are just too tempting. I already know that's going to be an unhealthy obsession. But no matter how hard the community continues to push the game and create new content, there's only one Rockstar, and this world presented in Red Dead Redemption 2 is ripe for more. I can only hope Rockstar looks at some of these ideas and at least considers them for future re-releases or future updates that will be coming to Red Dead Redemption 2. Let me know in the comments below if you like my ideas, and of course, let me know what you would like to see added to Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. If you like this video and want to see more Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online content, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'm almost finished with my first-person HUD-less Red Dead Redemption 2 walkthrough and hope to have the entire video series wrapped up by the time the PC port releases on November 5th. I just released my Trader Role guide video, and the Collector and Bounty Hunter guide videos should be up in the coming days as well. And then, of course, I'll be picking apart that PC version of the game once it drops. And when the mods start coming, you better believe I'll be taking a look at those as well. So there is no shortage of awesome Red Dead related goodies to look forward to in the near future. But until next time, thanks so much for watching everyone, and take care.